Aki just relocated to Tokyo, and as he's struggling to know his way around, schoolgirls pass him by, mistaking him for a cute girl. He then asks a liquor store owner for directions to Sunohara dormitory, and he reveals that he's attending middle school far away from his hometown. Along the way, he reaffirms his identity as a man and thinks it's a new opportunity for a debut, but a sudden downpour of rain symbolizes otherwise. As Aki makes it to the dormitory, he finds that there is no one to greet him. The caretaker, Ayaka, decides to play a prank on him by covering his eyes from behind before introducing herself. Aki gets flustered as he notices her big chest and fails to respond to her. Without confirming his identity, Ayaka lifts Aki to the bathroom as he is drenched in the rain. While soaking in the bathtub, Aki thinks to himself that he'll be spending the next 3 years with a pretty caretaker. As he's lost in thought, Ayaka suddenly barges in stating that it's a tradition to wash the back of any new tenant. Because of this, Aki almost passes out from embarrassment in the bathtub. As they get to talking, Aki clears up the misunderstanding with Ayaka, revealing to her that he's a boy. Ayaka thinks that it doesn't matter and she playfully bites Aki's ear, causing him to pass out. Aki wakes up laying in Ayaka's lap. Ayaka then excuses herself to prepare dinner, but not before she reaffirms that he's indeed a boy, having seen his genitals while clothing him. In the kitchen, as Ayaka keeps calling Aki with a feminine tone, he remembers the way he was treated by his sister. Having resolved that he'll live a different lifestyle than before, he clumsily tries to help Ayaka with the chores. Aki opens up to Ayaka that he wants to be treated like a man, and Ayaka hugs him and says she will try to. Aki also wants Ayaka to stop treating him like a child, to which Ayaka agrees if he kisses her on the cheek. Just as Aki is about to, they are interrupted by Tanamachi Middle School Student Council President coming home along with 2 other girls. After confiding to Aki that Ayaka has been very touchy-feely to all of them, they introduce themselves to Aki. Yuzu is the president, Sumiri is the vice president, and Yuri is the secretary. Yuri reveals to Aki that they have been close for a long time as they are childhood friends. She also plans to be a matchmaker for Yuzu and Sumiri, as it is apparent Sumiri has a crush on Yuzu. The next morning, Ayaka wakes up Aki by smothering him with her chest, as he's not waking up by just calling his name. Yuzu then enters the room asking what all the fuss is about so early in the morning. She then sees Ayaka hugging Aki and scolds her to stop being touchy. Since Aki worries that he won't have friends because he's from the countryside, Ayaka dresses up as a schoolgirl to help Aki practice making friends with his schoolmates. Aki reflects on how a month has passed since he moved into the dormitory. Upon returning home, he is startled to see Ayaka dressed in a revealing cheerleader uniform with pom-poms. As Aki studies in his room, Ayaka begins to cheer him up by dancing around in her uniform, causing Aki to blush and wonder why she is dressed like that. Yuzu and the others enter, with Yuzu bumping her head, and explain that the school sports day is coming up. Yuzu enthusiastically assigns Aki and Ayaka to participate in the 3-legged race, which Ayaka agrees to. The next day, they begin practicing, starting with stretches where Aki pushes Ayaka's back. As they tie their legs together, Aki feels awkward due to their height difference, but notices that Ayaka smells nice, which warms him. They practice walking, then running, with Ayaka's breasts occasionally brushing against Aki's face, making him feel flustered. After practice, Aki heads for a shower, but Ayaka enters the bathroom wearing minimal clothing and offers to cut his hair. Teasing Aki about trying to impress someone with his hairstyle, Ayaka cuts his hair while they talk about doing their best on the sports day. Aki falls asleep during the haircut, and when he wakes up, both are pleased with his new look, though Ayaka still calls him cute, much to Aki's dismay since he prefers to be called handsome. Ayaka then helps Aki shampoo his hair and playfully creates bubble figures. As Aki bathes, Ayaka enters again, claiming they need to do everything together for the race. Days before the sports event, they practice constantly, sticking close together to improve their synchronization. On the day of the sports day, Aki is visibly exhausted from all the training. Later, Yuzu screams and Aki rushes in to find her naked, only to discover a spider in the room. Embarrassed, Yuzu throws soap at him and quickly dresses. Both are terrified of the spider, and Aki teases Yuzu about her fear of bugs. Sumiri arrives to help but faints as the spider lands on her. Yuri briefly appears, explaining how the spider is useful but disappears right after. Then the same spider lands on Ayaka's chest, but she calmly removes it and asks Aki to go shopping. Aki frets over what to wear for the outing, prompting Yuzu and the others to tease him, even offering him a dress. As they head out, people mistake Aki and Ayaka for sisters, though Aki misinterprets their looks as them being mistaken for a couple. While shopping, they buy beer, and Aki learns that Ayaka is a heavy drinker, something he hadn't known about her. On their way home, Aki is happy to be holding hands with Ayaka, but Yuzu is freaked out when she spots them. After, Yuzu hands Aki a tape of a horror movie, hoping to scare Ayaka. But instead, Aki ends up frightened. Later, encouraged to learn Ayaka's weakness, Aki asks her directly. Ayaka admits she is afraid of someone sneaking into her room. Later that night, he did sneak into her room, and then as he was about to go, Ayaka pulled and hugged him. Ayaka confesses that the horror movie did scare her, and she asks Aki to stay with her, and then they fall asleep. Yuzu asks Aki if he minds an age gap relationship, and he says he doesn't. She explains that she came to his room because it was too hot, and his bed smells nice, which embarrasses Aki. Afterwards, she invites him to read manga with her. They sit close together, but Yuzu complains that her arms are tired, so she sits between Aki's knees. As they read, Aki notices Yuzu reading a shoujo manga. Yuzu then realizes that their position mirrors the characters in the manga, causing her to become flustered and flee from the room in embarrassment. Aki is left confused. Ayaka notices Yuzu running and enters Aki's room, curious about what happened. Aki explains the situation, and Ayaka suggests that they reenact it so he can better understand Yuzu's reaction. Aki reluctantly sits on Ayaka's lap, quickly blushing as he feels how close she is. At that moment, he realizes how awkward and embarrassing the situation truly was. After, Aki notices that Sunori has been staring at him. She confronts him, saying that Yuzu talks about him often and she's curious as to why. To understand why Yuzu is so interested, Sunori decides to observe Aki closely. She follows him to his room and attempts to mimic his actions, even trying to help him with his schoolwork. While working, Aki becomes distracted by Sunori's slender neck, which she notices. This makes her think he's mocking her. However, she eventually helps him with his work. While looking around his room, Sunori finds a cute stuffed toy, but admits that liking cute things doesn't suit her. Aki reassures her by saying he also likes cute things, which cheers her up. Their moment is interrupted when Ayaka enters and Sunori awkwardly explains that they were just showing each other embarrassing things. Later, Sunori seems to start understanding why Yuzu likes Aki. In the following days, Sunori feels down after an amusement park trip goes wrong. She had suggested the trip, but Yuzu wasn't able to go on a ride due to her height, which upset Sunori. Yuzu and Yuri urge Aki to cheer her up, but since it would be inappropriate for a boy to enter her room, they dress him up as a girl. Aki goes along with the plan and enters Sunori's room, which is filled with girly items. Sunori asks him to let her change into frilly pajamas, and afterward, she asks him to ride on her shoulders. This cheers her up, and she apologizes to the others. Yuzu teases her, placing a chicken on her head and vowing to try again at the amusement park. Back at the dorm, Yuri asks Aki for a favor, exciting him as she says it's something only he can do. However, when he enters her room, she asks him to try on a maid outfit. Although Aki is hesitant, Yuri's intimidating gaze convinces him to comply. They proceed to try on various outfits while Yuri takes pictures. At the end, she suggests a revealing swimsuit, which causes a commotion. Ayaka checks on them, and Aki, embarrassed, pulls Yuri into a closet to hide. Yuri teases him about their close position before he quickly exits, reminiscing about her sweet scent. Meanwhile, Yuri places Aki's picture next to their group photo in the dorm. The group discusses the idea of being a June bride, with Yuzu saying those who marry in June remain brides forever. Aki wonders if Ayaka would like to be a bride and imagines her in a wedding dress, making him so flustered that he spills his drink. Yuzu shares her dream of being a supportive wife, while Yuri and Sunori join the conversation. Yuri mentions wanting her husband to depend on her fully, and Yuzu imagines Sunori being serious at work but affectionate at home, which embarrasses her. When they ask Ayaka what kind of relationship she wants, she says she'd like someone who will support her, but is content for now and not in a rush to marry. They then ask Aki who he'd like to marry. He glances at Ayaka, but is interrupted by Yuzu's teasing. Later in his room, Aki fantasizes about Ayaka as his wife and reconsiders the conversation. While browsing a magazine, he reads that guys who cook are popular with girls. Inspired, he helps Ayaka make courage, and the others joke that Aki would make a great wife, leaving him speechless. Yuzu later asks Aki an awkward question. Do men like large chests? Aki is flustered, and Yuzu complains that despite being the same age as Yuri and Sunori, she's smaller in both height and chest size. When Aki asks why she doesn't get advice from the others, Yuzu explains they wouldn't help her grow up. Together, they search for ways to increase bust size, finding an article about massaging lymph nodes and another about breast massage, which embarrasses them. Yuzu, flustered, kicks Aki out of her room. Aki then goes to see Ayaka, who hugs him, letting him feel her warmth. He concludes it's her kindness that makes her so comforting. Later, he returns to Yuzu's room but finds her massaging her armpits. She kicks him out of embarrassment, and after he explains, she kicks him out again. Yuzu later sees Ayaka holding one of her swimsuits, feeling hopeful. Ayaka decides to not tell her that it was her swimsuit in elementary school. The next day, Aki notices Ayaka climbing a ladder to fix the roof. He offers to help, but after they finish, the ladder breaks, leaving them stranded on the roof as it starts raining. Sharing a cloth for cover, Aki begins fantasizing about living up there with Ayaka, which embarrasses him and causes him to slip. Ayaka hugs him tightly to stop him from falling. The other dormmates suddenly find themselves in this position. Yuzu jokes about the ladder falling and ends up knocking it over herself. Afterward, all 4 dormmates race to the bathroom, soaked from the rain. The 3 girls bathe together while Ayaka dries Aki off. As they talk about how the dorm has become livelier since Aki moved in, Ayaka lets Aki rest on her lap. Once the others finish showering, they call for Aki and, in a playful moment, force Yuri to lie on Ayaka's lap too. With the rainy season over and summer beginning, Aki and the girls decide to spend the day in a small inflatable pool in the yard. Yuzu, wearing her one-piece swimsuit, gets caught off guard when Yuri sneaks up on her, revealing her outfit. Embarrassed, Yuzu retaliates by splashing Ayaka and Sumiri with a water hose, which makes their clothes slightly transparent, showing hints of their chests. Sumiri, unfazed, removes her wet clothes and joins Yuzu and Yuri in the pool. Yuzu shouts at Aki, telling him that boys aren't allowed in. Aki grumbles to himself, thinking it's the only time they treat him like a man. Meanwhile, Ayaka calls out from the kitchen, asking Aki to bring out the sliced watermelons for everyone to enjoy. When Aki sees Ayaka in her revealing red swimsuit, he gets flustered, blushing as he struggles to keep his composure. Ayaka teases him, suggesting he put on his swimsuit and join them. Aki, however, awkwardly declines, saying he can't let others see him like that. Ayaka tries to hug him, playfully insisting it's fine, but Aki dodges, laughing nervously and refusing to let her hug him while she's wearing such a revealing outfit. When they return outside, the 3 girls are still playing in the pool. Aki confides in Ayaka, admitting that he doesn't dare to join them with all 3 girls there. Ayaka suggests he could wait until they're done, but Aki feels it would still be awkward being the only one left in the pool. Ayaka then offers a solution: why not go together? After a while, the girls finish up and leave Aki with the task of cleaning the pool. As he debates whether to go in alone, Ayaka mischievously pushes him in and then hops in herself. She laughs, insisting that after all the effort of setting it up, it would be a shame to pack the pool away so soon. Unbeknownst to them, Yuri is secretly snapping pictures from around the corner of the house. Later, inside the house, Aki notices Yuri with her new camera. She explains that she's been taking random photos and offers to show Aki some of them. As they flip through the gallery, Aki catches a brief glimpse of a private photo of Yuzu before Yuri quickly snatches the camera back. Moments later, Sumiri arrives and, despite Aki's presence, pressures Yuri to show her the photos of Yuzu wanting to buy them. Afterward, in an attempt to silence Aki, Yuri shows Aki how she takes her photos and even lends him the camera. Aki, curious, attempts to take a picture of Ayaka, but she notices and playfully tells him to make sure it's a nice one. At the end of the first semester, the group decides to spend their summer break together. Ayaka, ever the responsible one, suggests they finish their summer homework as soon as possible. The other 3, Yuzu, Yuri, and Sumiri, agree, mentioning that it's something they do every year to get it out of the way. Meanwhile, Aki decides to clean his room while the others head out for a bit. Later, Ayaka, dressed like a teacher, offers to help Aki with his homework. Once they finish, she rewards him with ice cream, much to his delight. Aki entered his room only to find Nana inside half naked, with just a blazer covering her upper body. This sight flustered Aki, who quickly shut the door behind him. Nana, unfazed, peeked through the door, explaining that she let herself in because it used to be her old room. She introduced herself to Aki, but mistook his name for a girl's. To verify his identity, she teasingly pulled down his shorts slightly and blew on his ear, joking that he was secretly enjoying the situation despite his obvious blushing. Moments later, Yuzu barged in and Nana immediately doted on her. When Nana was about to change, Aki and Yuzu stepped outside. Yuzu explained to Aki that Nana had been the former student council president before her. Once Nana changed into her high school uniform, she playfully flaunted her skin at Aki, but Yuzu scolded her for this behavior. The two engaged in a playful academic challenge, where Nana ultimately won by using high school-level knowledge to outsmart Yuzu. As the noise from their banter grew louder, Ayaka came to check on the commotion. This interaction revealed to Aki that Ayaka and Nana were siblings, as Nana referred to Ayaka as her older sister. At dinner, Aki noted how different the two sisters seemed. Nana was more combative while Ayaka was calm and collected. Ayaka reassured him, though, that Nana had a kind side beneath her tough exterior. The next morning, Aki woke up startled to find Nana beside him in bed. Assuming he had accidentally sneaked into her bed, he jumped up only for Nana to tease him, claiming he was the one sneaking in. She then retrieved her gaming consoles from a hidden stash, as Ayaka was strict about her gaming habits. Nana invited Aki to play with her, making him sit between her legs while they gamed. Distracted and flustered, Aki struggled to concentrate as Nana continuously beat him in the fighting game. Soon after, Ayaka called Aki for breakfast, catching Nana mid-game. Nana joked that she wanted to keep Aki as a pet, teasing Ayaka. The next morning, Aki dreamt of the sisters asking him to apply sunscreen, only to wake up and find Nana sleeping beside him again. Later at the public pool, Aki was approached by two girls who tried to flirt with him, but they were quickly interrupted by Nana. She told them that Aki already belonged to her, marking her territory. When Ayaka returned from the bathroom, Nana tried to negotiate with her, asking to keep Aki to herself for the day. However, Ayaka disagreed as she had plans to teach Aki how to swim. To resolve this, they challenged each other to a swimming race. Nana's friends, who were commentating on the race, made remarks about Ayaka's large chest, helping her stay afloat. This turned the conversation away from the race entirely. Ayaka ended up winning, but Aki missed the result, too distracted by Nana's friends doting on him. Despite Nana's frustration and repeated attempts to win, her friends continued to spoil Aki, showing little interest in the race. Eventually, Nana became too tired to continue, allowing Ayaka to claim victory. However, just as she invited Aki for his swimming lesson, they realized the pool was closing for the day. Aki and Yuzu were watching a horror movie together. Yuzu screamed in fear while Aki remained calm, but both flinched when Nana suddenly screamed to scare them. Nana teased Aki, telling him not to mock ghosts as the old Sunohara building might be haunted. She even jokingly offered to stay with him if he was scared. Later, Aki heard strange noises near his room, which frightened him enough to seek comfort in Ayaka's room, only to find Yuzu already there. Aki mentioned the noise, and Ayaka explained that it came from her grandmother's sealed storage room. This creeped out both Yuzu and Aki even more. Ayaka then invited Aki to sleep with them since Yuzu had asked to stay, but he, embarrassed, declined and went to his room. Still spooked, Aki decided to check out the storage room himself and found Nana exercising on a treadmill. Relieved that it wasn't a ghost, Nana teased Aki for being scared. She asked him to keep it a secret, explaining that she had no other space for her exercise equipment. However, Ayaka found out later and insisted Nana get rid of the equipment and stick to a healthier diet instead. The next day, Nana asked Yuzu and Aki to help store her belongings, but they hesitated. Nana teased Yuzu for being weak, which led to a physical endurance contest to decide who would take the equipment. With Sumiri, Yuri, and Aki as judges, the competition began. The first challenge was the ab roller, and Aki became flustered as Nana's movements were right in front of him. Yuzu attempted it but fell to the ground, giving Nana the win. Next was the bouncing ball for flexibility, and Aki was again embarrassed by Nana's suggestive posture. Yuzu tried but got flipped off the ball, allowing Nana another victory. Frustrated, Yuzu suggested a bar endurance test. This time, Yuzu won. Ayaka stepped in and decided that they should just store the equipment in the storage room. The following day, Aki was helping Ayaka with yard work and noticed how she was always doing the harder tasks. Concerned, Yuri suggested that Aki give her a massage. Eager to show him, Yuri demonstrated her massage technique on Sumiri, making her squeal. Aki tried it and got the same reaction. Then he gave Ayaka a massage coupon, which she redeemed right away. When Aki massaged her shoulders and waist, Ayaka teasingly called him a pervert. He then applied the technique Yuri had shown him, making Ayaka try hard not to squeal before abruptly stopping the massage. The next day, Nana's friends begged her for help with their homework. To motivate them, Nana offered Aki a prize. For every page they completed, they could spend 10 seconds doing anything with him. Her friends eagerly took advantage, doting on Aki until he was exhausted. Ayaka eventually joined them with drinks, and they decided to play the king game. The king ordered Aki and Ayaka to play the Pocky game, which made everyone else want to join in. However, Ayaka stopped the game when it got too rowdy, reminding them they still had homework to finish. Afterward, all three asked for massages from Aki, and they squealed together as he applied Yuri's massage techniques to them. While Aki is working on his assignment, Nana hangs around in his room excitedly chatting about the upcoming fireworks festival. As Nana talks, she mentions that with summer ending soon, she will have to go away. Aki, focused on his work, tries to ignore her. Frustrated, Nana playfully puts him in an arm lock, pushing him onto the bed. Startled, Aki quickly gives in, admitting that he'll miss her, just to make her stop. Aki helps Ayaka with the groceries, even though it's hot outside. She thanks him for his effort, and while they're out shopping, Aki notices a poster for the upcoming fireworks festival. Once they return home, Nana requests Ayaka, and she agrees. Curious about what it could be, Aki tries to eavesdrop but gets caught by Nana. Amused, she reveals that Ayaka is simply cleaning her ears. Sensing an opportunity for mischief, Nana pushes Aki into the room, teasing that he also wants Ayaka to clean his ears. Nana leaves them alone so Ayaka can clean Aki's ears. As Ayaka gently tends to him, Aki can't help but let out moans from the soothing sensation. Aki's warm presence and comforting scent make Aki feel completely at ease. Aki drifts off to sleep. Nana then comes back and takes a picture of Aki sleeping and shows it to everyone. Sometime later, Nana shows off her yukata to Aki, excitedly twirling around. Ayaka, however, reprimands her for not wearing it properly, pointing out that she's wearing the wrong underwear for a yukata. Unfazed, Nana cheekily says she'll just go braless and then teases Ayaka, mentioning that she hasn't seen her in a yukata either. Ayaka admits it's because they don't have one her size. Aki looks disheartened when he realizes Ayaka doesn't plan to wear a yukata to the festival. Seeing his reaction, Ayaka changes her mind, deciding to wear one after all. Later, Yuzu, after finishing putting on her yukata, heads out to invite Aki to the festival. But when she sees Ayaka and Nana playfully clinging to Aki, she flusters, backtracks, and yells that he's an idiot before storming off. At the festival, Aki is accompanied by Ayaka and Nana, while the others wander off to explore the stalls on their own. Together, Aki, Ayaka, and Nana enjoy the festival, trying out various games and indulging in the food. Along the way, two of Nana's friends join them, adding to the fun. However, as the group treats Aki like a kid, he becomes embarrassed and runs off. Unintentionally, he runs quite far, and the girls, growing concerned, try to find him. Worried about his sudden disappearance, they even contact the other three to help search for him. As the fireworks begin, Ayaka finally finds Aki and consoles him with a gentle hug, reassuring him. Meanwhile, Yuzu, growing increasingly worried, uses the festival's speaker system to announce Aki's name, hoping to help find him. With the group reunited, they decide to watch the fireworks together. After the festival, Nana has to leave and Aki feels saddened by her departure. However, they make a promise to play games together again, easing some of the sadness. Aki was confused when he saw Ayaka in a maid outfit. Ayaka explained that they would be helping Yatsuho with her Oktoberfest event at her liquor store. Once they arrived, Ayaka mentioned that the event was intended to help new dorm students adjust to dorm life. However, Yatsuho quickly revealed it was actually for free labor, and she promptly handed Aki a maid outfit, noting that only girls had ever volunteered to help before. Flustered, Aki remembered the bag Yuri had given him for emergencies like this, hoping it contained something useful. To his surprise, it only held a wig. With no other option, he reluctantly donned the wig and joined Ayaka in serving customers. At first, he fumbled, spilling a mug while watching Ayaka skillfully interact with customers. Embarrassed, Aki apologized profusely, but Ayaka stepped in, encouraging him to smile and telling him that he'd get the hang of it. Following her advice, Aki soon found his groove and even began enjoying the work. After the shift, Aki removed his wig and was praised by both Ayaka and Yatsuho. Ayaka, slightly drunk, back-hugged Aki, causing him to blush deeply. Soon after, it was time for a school trip, and Yuri, Yuzu, and Suneri left for Kyoto, leaving Ayaka and Aki alone in the dorm. Nana dropped by, and they all enjoyed eating sweet potatoes on a bench outside. Nana snapped a selfie with Aki and sent it to the girls in Kyoto, who replied with a barrage of photos showing them enjoying their trip. Feeling the chill of the evening, the group moved indoors. While in the hot bath together, Nana stepped on the scale and was startled by the result. Ayaka teased her, joking that she had gained some weight. In retaliation, Nana pulled Ayaka into the teasing, commenting on how her body had changed as well. Meanwhile, Aki, hearing their playful banter from outside, was left wondering what was going on inside. At that moment, he received a photo from the girls in Kyoto, which left him both confused and amused. That night, Aki heard a noise coming from the storage house. When he checked, he found Ayaka using the treadmill, apparently trying to lose weight after the earlier teasing. Embarrassed for her, Aki quietly closed the door, pretending he hadn't seen anything. The next morning, Ayaka entered Aki's room with a fever and collapsed. Panicked, Aki rushed to Yuzu's room for help, only to walk in while she was changing, earning him a swift kick out of the room. Relieved that it was only a cold, Yuzu and the other girls helped take care of Ayaka and change her clothes. However, due to their student council duties, Aki was left in charge of her. When Ayaka woke up from a bad dream about Yuzu and Yuri, Aki brought her porridge and explained the situation. Although reluctant, Ayaka accepted his help. Noticing she was covered in sweat, Aki prepared to leave to give her privacy to change. But Ayaka asked for his assistance in wiping her body. Nervously, Aki wiped her back and underboob, flustering him the entire time. The next day, Ayaka recovered and thanked Aki, teasingly promising that when he fell sick, she wiped down his entire body, leaving the others shocked. Yatsuho visits Ayaka, asking her to join her for a drink. Ayaka declines, saying it's too early, but Yatsuho argues that it's the perfect time to enjoy some hayorishi. Meanwhile, Aki crosses paths with Nana and her friends while walking around town. Her friends invite him to join them, and one playfully whispers in his ear that they'll teach him something fun. They head into a karaoke room, surprising Aki by wearing costumes. The sofa in the karaoke room is small, so Aki ends up sitting on Nana's lap. The three girls start singing and Aki is left to go last. When they hand him the remote, he feels embarrassed, admitting he's never used it before. Realizing it's his first time, one of Nana's friends jokingly thinks of something suggestive, but the other friend reprimands her, urging her to keep her mind out of the gutter. Nana then teases Aki, saying she'll take the lead and guide him, adding that if he doesn't sing, they'll play a trick on him. As he prepares to sing, the two friends get butterflies from his cuteness, and they sensually touch his thighs, causing him to moan. They challenge him, saying that if he's a true man, he should be able to handle the teasing. Eventually, Aki mentions that it's getting close to his curfew, but they protest, inviting him to go with them to a photo booth. Meanwhile, Ayaka and Yatsuho are still drinking at the dorm, having consumed quite a bit and feeling a bit tipsy. Aki decides to continue to the photo booth, where Nana asks him to take pictures just with her. Their friends protest, wanting to join in too. As night falls and Aki returns to the dorm, Yuzu greets him, noting that he barely made it back before curfew. Aki notices Yuzu is dressed up, and she explains that the student council worked with some kids, so she had to put on a costume. Just then, Aki's pictures slip out and Yuzu picks one up, seeing a kissing pose with Nana's friends. She reprimands him for what she assumes are illicit sexual relations. At that moment, Yuri and Sumiri arrive in costumes as well. They hear Ayaka's voice from inside and decide to investigate, discovering Ayaka hugging a tipsy Yatsuho. Yuzu confronts them, but the two girls just hug her and shenanigans ensue. Afterward, Aki goes to the aquarium with Ayaka, who learned about his fondness for penguins and brought along 2 tickets. They stroll around the aquarium, enjoying the sights, and eventually arrive at the penguin exhibit, much to Aki's delight. Ayaka jokes that some of the penguins resemble Yuzu and the others. They continue their tour, buying penguin souvenirs for their friends. When they get home, Aki presents Ayaka with a penguin plushie, excitedly recounting his experience at the aquarium. Sumiri shows Aki a picture of them when they were kids. Yuri arrives and says they look like siblings. Amused, Sumiri asks Aki to call her big sister. Yuzu then arrives and joins in with the act. Aki goes along with this and calls them older sisters. They end up doing activities and scenarios being siblings. A mysterious girl with long pink hair then arrives at the dorm. Aki wakes up to a pink-haired girl in her underwear on top of him, his older sister, Matsuri. She insists that it's already late and tries to undress him, saying he needs to get changed. Ayaka then walks in on them. Matsuri introduces herself to the other dorm members, and Ayaka quickly apologizes for interrupting their private family time. Aki, still flustered, asks how Matsuri even found him. She playfully replies with love. The others notice that Aki is dressed in cute clothes, and Matsuri proudly admits she brought them, saying she can't let her little sister wear anything but cute outfits. The others are confused since Aki is a boy, but Sumiri agrees with Matsuri, sharing her sense of style. Yuzu disagrees, saying Aki looks better in regular clothes. Matsuri eyes Yuzu and approaches her, complimenting her cuteness and suggesting she'd like Yuzu as her little sister too. Sumiri quickly interjects, claiming Yuzu is her own. After a brief stay, Matsuri says her goodbyes, not wanting to impose. Aki asks her to send his regards to their parents, but Matsuri gives him a puzzled look, revealing to him that he's coming home with her. After all, she came to take him home, arguing that he couldn't manage without her. Aki hides behind Ayaka, insisting that Ayaka takes good care of him. Matsuri thanks Ayaka for her efforts but tries to drag Aki away. Ayaka stops her, reminding Matsuri to respect Aki's wishes, adding that their parents permitted him to live at the dorm. Matsuri retorts that Ayaka doesn't know how to take care of Aki and asks to test her. Matsuri tests Ayaka, demanding she show how she would care for Aki. Ayaka surprises her with a back hug, catching Matsuri off guard. Matsuri gets hungry, so Ayaka suggests cooking for them, showing that she nourishes Aki through her cooking. Matsuri is impressed, though she doesn't admit it. Several other tests follow, and Ayaka passes each one with flying colors. As night falls, Ayaka invites Matsuri to stay the night, but Matsuri remains determined to take Aki home. Ayaka notices they haven't bathed yet, so they take a bath, upholding the dorm tradition of washing new tenants' backs. With all that happened, Matsuri starts to warm up to Ayaka. The next morning, while Aki and Ayaka are out grocery shopping, Matsuri tails them. Thinking that Ayaka is doing something inappropriate to Aki, Matsuri confronts them. As she got closer, she found out that Ayaka was just feeding Aki manju because his hands were full. Unable to hold back any longer, Matsuri drags Aki into a dark alley, saying they're going home. However, they get lost, and in the process, Matsuri falls and scrapes her knee. Aki gives her a piggyback ride, which makes her reminisce about their childhood when it was the other way around. She realizes how much Aki has grown. In the end, Matsuri decides to move into the dorm so she can stay with her cute little brother. Aki lifted the kotatsu, commenting on how heavy it was. Ayaka explained that the durable ones were always heavy. Both of them slid their feet under it, immediately comforted by its warmth. Ayaka then brought out a bowl of mandarins, a tradition for them, and peeled and fed the fruit to Aki. Suddenly, the kotatsu became cold, and Ayaka discovered that the plug had come loose. She slid under the kotatsu to fix it, but remained there afterward, leaving Aki flustered. Embarrassed by her being under the kotatsu, Aki lifted the cloth to check on her and saw that the plug was already secured. Ayaka eventually came out on the same side as Aki and sat beside him. Afterward, she got up to make some tea, and Aki dozed off for a bit, only to wake up with Ayaka wrapping a blanket around him. The next day, Yuzu and Aki went out shopping for Christmas. During their walk, Aki mentioned being excited to see Santa, making Yuzu realize that Aki still believes Santa was real. Worried about how to handle the situation, Yuzu spoke with the other girls, and they devised a plan to make sure Aki would fall asleep early on Christmas Eve so he wouldn't catch on. When Christmas arrived, they had a small celebration with cake, but Yuzu was still anxious about Aki learning the truth about Santa. At one point, Aki stood up and Nana followed him, almost revealing Santa wasn't real, but Yuzu quickly stopped her. Afterward, Nana suggested Yuzu sleep beside Aki to ensure he wouldn't wake up during the night, a suggestion that flustered Yuzu. Meanwhile, Matsuri attempted to sneak into the house to deliver Aki's gift, but all the doors were locked so she couldn't get in. As the party came to an end and everyone left, Ayaka noticed Matsuri trying to enter. Later, Yuzu agreed to sleep beside Aki to ensure he stayed asleep. She gently patted him and rubbed his tummy until he drifted off, with Yuzu also falling asleep soon after. Ayaka and Matsuri then quietly entered the room to deliver Aki's Christmas present. Half awake, Aki saw Ayaka leaving and remarked how Santa looked a lot like her. The next morning, Aki excitedly told Ayaka about a dream he had where she was pulling a sled through the sky like Santa. Before New Year's Eve, the group participated in general cleaning. Ayaka and the others teased Aki by warming their cold hands on him. Later, they offered to clean his room as a thank you, but Aki, feeling embarrassed, refused. Sumiri then found a magazine with a buff guy on the cover, and they all teased Aki about it. That night, everyone gathered around the kotatsu to eat, and the three girls eventually fell asleep there. Aki, still awake, wanted to stay up to see the new year in with Ayaka. As midnight approached, they reminisced year, with Aki expressing how happy he was that Ayaka was the dorm caretaker. When the clock struck 12, they wished each other a happy new year, though Aki was sleepy. Ayaka held his hand and guided him to his room, telling him she looked forward to the coming year, and Aki agreed before drifting off to sleep.
Take you